A creative solution, how police and a local shelter are helping homeless people facing fines or even jail time.
Plus, crews in Tijuana explore new options to clear a massive blockage without sending thousands of gallons of contaminated water into San Diego's South Bay. But first, Washington is closely watching Iran for its next move. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Ben Higgins in for Steve Atkinson. Tensions escalated over the weekend after a U.S. airstrike killed Iran's top military general in Iraq. His replacement has vowed revenge, and members of Iraq's parliament voted to kick out American troops stationed there. President Trump warned that if Iraq followed through, the U.S. would sanction them, quote, like never before. Iran has also announced that it will no longer abide by the 2015 nuclear deal. Meantime, the House of Representatives is planning a vote to limit the president's military actions. As the fallout continues from Iran, we're now turning our attention to the impacts the attack could have here in San Diego.
And 10 News reporter John Horn is joining us now live in the newsroom. John, experts say retaliation could take one of two forms.
That's right, Kimberly and Ben, and I want to point out before I get to that San Diego police say they have still received no credible threat and they have not increased patrols at this time. So with that aside, yes, those two forms that people have told us are a cyber attack or a terrorist attack. And those security experts say that in San Diego, it's important to remain vigilant.
You have an army that's been decimated. You have an Air Force that's flying airplanes. We flew 40 years ago.
Former Marine pilot Ed Rush says Iran's options are limited when it comes to retaliating to the killing of General Qasem Soleimani.
The two most likely things I think from Iran is a terrorist attack or a cyber attack.
Rush says a terror attack would most likely be abroad, perhaps on a U.S. interest or embassy. But security experts say it's important to stay aware in San Diego. It's a region home to major military bases and a magnet for tourism.
The most you can do is have people that are observing who's entering. Let's say somebody shows up in our kind of weather with a very heavy top coat on or something like that. That's always an example used. Why are you wearing a top coat coming into the safari park and it's 75 degrees outside?
Aviation security expert Glenn Wynn says he expects the region's attractions to have more personnel watching as visitors enter. He also noted a wide range of agencies run frequent drills to prepare for any potential attack. The same can also be said for attempted cyber attacks, which the U.S. deals with constantly.
This is going on all the time. There's always other governments attempting to go and access infrastructure in the U.S.
James Linlor, who has managed cybersecurity programs for the Navy, says he expects the intensity and range of the attempted attacks to increase. But he says these would be on large-scale systems and not down to the individual level.
Linlor added that his sources are telling him that the U.S. has been very successful in defending any recent attacks that have come our way. Now, we did reach out to the Midway, the Zoo, and SeaWorld. All declined to discuss security. Again, San Diego police say there is no credible threat at this time, and they have not increased any patrols. For now, live in the newsroom, John Horn, 10 News.
John, thank you. Military bases across San Diego are increasing their security measures. We spoke with a veteran who says this is common practice anytime something significant happens involving the U.S. military. Military law enforcement will check all ID cards and increase vehicle inspections, which could in turn increase wait times to get on base, causing backups. MCAS Miramar, Camp Pendleton, and Naval Base Point Loma all announced those extra security measures through tweets. And you can get the latest on the developing tension with Iran and the local military's response with the free 10 News app. You can find it in the App Store or Google Play. Gusty Santa Ana winds hit the county today. The strongest came in this morning.
Meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the winds around the county as an advisory lasts until tomorrow.
That's right. It'll continue through tomorrow morning. Some of the strongest winds going over 70 miles per hour. In Julian, it went up to 77 miles per hour this morning. And also just northeast of Ramona, winds recording over 70 miles per hour. At the moment, it's looking a lot better. Wind gusts of 31 in Alpine, 23 in Julian, and 9 miles per hour in Warner Springs. Over towards Poway and Escondido, it has been gusty at times, but it's not terrible. The winds could change and speed up once again overnight into early tomorrow. Our wind advisory will be in effect until 9 a.m., including our valleys, foothills, and mountains. Conditions will be changing by the afternoon and then colder air. I'll pinpoint the next cool down heading back to San Diego.
Homeless San Diegans facing jail or a citation now have another option. Stay in a shelter for 30 days. Stay in a shelter for 30 days. As 10 News reporter Amanda Brandeis explains, San Diego Police believes it's an innovative solution to helping the homeless and to connect them with resources.
Sweetie, huh?
Hope Bermudez is making her rounds at the Alpha Project's Bridge Shelter downtown.
Hey, Bob!
She was on the streets for 20 years until she accepted help here.
I got tired of being out in the streets.
She got drug addiction treatment and access to mental health care. Now, she has her own apartment.
Words can't describe it. It's something that's mine.
San Diego Police and the Alpha Project want to see more success stories like this. Over the years, Bermudez spent a lot of time in jail.
Down here, you know, it's more encroachments.
The department's neighborhood policing division enforces quality of life laws like encroachment and illegal lodging. Now homeless people facing jail or citation have another option: going to the Alpha Project shelter. If they stay for 30 days, the ticket goes away.
What we want is people to be unsheltered. We want to bring them to a place where the specialists are.
Lieutenant Carmelin Rivera says they started the incentive program last summer, but people weren't required to stay for 30 days. 67% left the shelter right away. Now that number's dropped to 46%.
People seem to be more accepting now of those kind of services, in particular shelter.
Instead of taking you to jail, we take you over and give you a shot at redemption, a shot at success.
Alpha Project's Bob McElroy says at first he was skeptical, but says the 50 beds are staying filled and many participants are accepting help after the 30 days.
Very encouraging experience for me after 35 years of doing this, to see some of these folks that have been out there we've been trying to help for decades actually coming in now and say, Bob, I want some help, man.
And they're ready to provide it. Amanda Brandeis, 10 News.
San Diego Police says while they're seeing positive results, it's too early to know how effective the program is so far. Bad weather could be a factor in people staying longer. Officers say whether a homeless person is facing a citation or not, they'll be offered shelter.
Crews in Mexico are trying to find a solution to a huge blockage in Tijuana that won't lead to a rush of contaminated water into the U.S. Well, right now, millions of gallons of water, chemicals, trash, and toxic sludge are known to be in the Matadero Canyon. That's because a tree has created a blockage of rocks and other debris. If removed, all of that water and trash will fill the Tijuana River Valley on the north side of the border here in San Diego County. And now Mexican water officials want to meet with their U.S. counterparts to figure out how they can keep that from happening.
The owner of the San Onofre nuclear plant wants the state to toss out a local nonprofit's formal protest. Southern California Edison wants to pull $400 million from a state fund to decommission San Onofre. But the UT reports that San Diego-based public watchdogs filed a protest, hoping to force public hearings. SoCal Edison says the nonprofit's protest isn't based on facts. State regulators are currently reviewing SoCal Edison's request to dip into the state's decommission fund.
The man arrested for a deadly hit and run late last year has now officially been charged with the crime. Police say Jamison Connor was driving on the wrong side of La Honda Drive in November when he hit and killed a cyclist. That cyclist, Kevin Lentz, was killed on impact. Police say Connor ditched his car a half-mile away. He was arrested on Thanksgiving for unrelated drug charges. He's pleaded not guilty to those charges. He'll appear in court on the hit-and-run charges next month.
The man convicted of killing his roommate, shoving his body into a barrel and dumping it into San Diego Bay will spend 56 years to life in prison. A judge sentenced Timothy Cook today after the family of Omar Benita addressed Cook directly. A jury convicted Cook last month in the 2017 murder. Prosecutors argued at trial that Cook wanted $88,000 that Medina got through a legal settlement. Today, Medina's mother and sister said they were still confused and heartbroken, but said this to Cook.
Pero puedo decir que en el nombre de Dios.
But I can tell you that in the name of God,
yo puedo.
I can.
Yo puedo perdonar.
I can forgive. And I know that my forgiveness probably means nothing to you, because it really can't do anything for you. It can't deliver you, and it can't free you. it could only free me.
Throughout the trial, Cook maintained his innocence in killing Medina, though he did admit to putting his money in the barrel to cover it up.
New video shows the moment police pulled a Chase suspect from his car in the East County. The chase, which started just before 5 o'clock this morning in the South Bay, ended when the suspect crashed in Spring Valley. The car ended up on its side. Police moved in to get the man out. He was taken to the hospital. Police haven't yet said what started the chase.
Qualcomm is getting into the business of self-driving cars. Now, not the actual cars, but the computers that make them autonomous. The San Diego company announced today that it hopes to have a computing system in the cars by 2023. Qualcomm showed off its new Snapdragon ride system this weekend at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.